is the Bunker Podcast. If it exists, it's here.
Downloading new file.
The Bunker Podcast starts now.
Sorry about the big cough there. I realised that my microphone should have been muted at that point. Anyway, so welcome to the Bunker Podcast live again. I did do a podcast yesterday night. Unfortunately, it got copyright claimed by whoever produces The Last Kingdom. They took the video down, and so it wasn't even like demonetized. Not that I'm a new YouTube channel. There's no money being made. I've got 2 subscribers and minimal views. So I don't know why I am a threat to a multi-million-dollar company. I have no idea, but it's ridiculous. I didn't even use much of the video. I showed a trailer of season 2, I think. Trailer of season 2, and a clip of the episode 1 or episode 2. I did show a little clip over here in this screen here, and I didn't use much of it, and I talked over it, so I don't know why that isn't fair use. I don't understand it. I see people watching full episodes of TV shows on YouTube all the time. So why they felt the need to take my whole video down because of a minute of video or sound, I don't know. Anyway, I deleted that video because there's no point in fighting it, or so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try and be a bit more brief. I'm also going to talk about episode 2 as well, because I was going to do episode 2 later on, but I watched episode 2, so I might as well talk about it. So, The Last Kingdom. I've got to be a bit careful on this video. I'm not showing any Last Kingdom footage. The only thing I've got is the Last Kingdom poster on the right hand side of the screen. So they can't take this video, surely. Anyway, so Last Kingdom starting out really well. First 2 episodes absolutely fantastic. It looks amazing. The cinematography and the shots and the wide shots and the costumes, everything just looks so good. You can go back and see the first series, and you can actually see the difference. So if you got time, or go back and have a little look. You might have even been watching the previous series leading up to this one. I myself watched the series 3 again just to catch up. But I have actually seen the first series and the second series twice before anyway, so I didn't really need to re-watch them again. They're very good, but still quite fresh in my mind. I think I watched them the end of last year, so maybe 6 months ago, so not really any need to watch them again. So the new series starts out, we see Alfric, Uhtred's uncle up at Bebbanburg, getting attacked by the Scots. They're having big trouble with the Scots coming in and invading his lands, trying to take Bebbanburg the fort. And he's not having much luck. He's losing lots of men. He's wondering, how long he can hold it for. And while all this is going on, Uhtred's men are there. Finan and his band of followers. They're kind of checking what's going on, seeing, having a look what Alfric is doing at Bebbanburg, seeing what's going to happen, because as we know, Uhtred is starting to look north from the end of the last series, he wants to go and reclaim Bebenberg for himself. So it makes sense that he's sent a few spies up there to see what's going on. They return to Uhtred and report what they've seen, which pleases Uhtred, and he makes a decision that he needs to now raise an army to go and take back Bebenberg. So he decides to cash in his chips, and call in his favour of Winchester and Wessex. Of course, Edward is now the king. Alfred died last series. So he decides to go back. Apologies, sorry. He decides to go back to Wessex, Winchester, to ask for some men. I think originally he asked for 100. He said if he gets 100 men, he could do it in a week. If he gets 200 men, he can do it in a day. Trying to convince Edward, help me out here. Everything I've done for Wessex, you can at least help me take back my homeland. Edward denies him. Says, he was a bit annoyed that Uhtred manipulated him a bit when he was younger. And Edward's now, he's not listening to anyone. He's got his father-in-law in his ear, kind of in the shots a little bit, really. But Edward's, he's got his own mind. He's not going to be told what to do. He's falling out with his mum. He's falling out with his sister. He's not smiled. Edward's having a tough time of it. I think he's feeling the pressure of being king, which is to be expected. But he's not really. We're not feeling he's making the right decisions so far. So I think Edward's going to go down a bit of a path in this series. He's whether his arc means that he's going to get darker and then he's going to come and help at the end of the day, I don't know. Well, we also find out that Ethelfled and Uhtred are now an item, not officially, of course. They're having a bit of an affair, which we probably expected at the end of the last series. So that's what's going on with Uhtred, and this is kind of towards the start of the episode. That's what's going on with Uhtred and his guys and Wessex and Winchester. And then I think what happens next, we go and find out what's happening with the Danes. Of course, Canute and Breda are still together. We also find out that they're hatching a plan with Heston. Heston's playing a bit of a double agent with Wessex or Mercia. He's a bit of a he's pretending to spy on the Danes, giving information to Mercia, whereas in fact they're setting up the invasion of Mercia. So what happens is the Heston basically tells the Mercia King's Guard, or the what do you call it? The runs the army. I can't remember what he's called actually. He tells him that Canute and Breda and the Danes, they're taking themselves off over to Ireland for a while. It's clear. So then Mercia, based on this information, they decide they're going to go back and raid and take back East Anglia, which is Dane law. That's where the Danes have taken over. So Mercia, they decide they're going to take their army, go over to take advantage while the Danes are away, take back some land for Mercia. But of course, it's being a setup. The Heston and Heston's kind of got his own agenda in this, which might become clear later on. So Canute and Breda, they take the army of Danes and they attack Aylesbury, which is the actually that's in episode 2 where they do that. That's what they make their plan to do in this episode. So they're going to go and invade Mercia basically. So We find out Breda is pregnant as well with Canut's child. He doesn't know. Heston actually guesses that she is somehow. I don't know how he does it. He says it's because of her boobs, but I don't know. Can you tell that? So where are we? So an underlying thing here as well. Mercia, the King of Mercia, Ethelred, is that his name? He wants a jewel back from Bebenberg. He's trying to bring back all of his family artifacts, the Mercia artifacts, so he can kind of expand his kingdom. So he dispatches a couple of monks to go up there and negotiate the handover of this artifact. Uhtred hears about this and decides that he's gonna use this as a way of getting into the fortress of Bebenberg. So he kidnaps his son, who is now a monk, I think, or a monk in training. He's a young monk. So he kidnaps his son and talks him into it, forces him into this plan. And the plan is, after not being able to get the men from Edward, Uhtred's plan now is to go anyway and try it with what he's got, hoping that the advantage would be that his son will sneak in with the monks, open the door, Uhtred walks in, kills Alfrich, and Uhtred is the lord and saviour of Bebenberg, and he takes back his lands. That's his plan. So I don't think a lot more happens in this episode, other than Father Bioka decides to come and join Uhtred before he leaves. He just comes and says, "Right, I've decided I'm coming with you. One more fight. I'm a bit old, but I'm coming along anyway." And obviously Uhtred is quite happy about to have an extra person along with him for the fight. So the end of the episode is them sailing away on a boat, heading up towards Bebenberg. Now obviously it's a long way back up north, so they're not going to get there that quickly. There's a few stops along the way, and that's where we that's the end of episode 1. We look into episode 2. We start off exactly where we ended the first episode, back on the water. They're in the boat. Him and the crew, Finan and his crew, are going up to. I don't exactly know what their route is. I don't know. I don't think they're going on the sea. I don't know what sea though, or what side of it. Back in Wessex, they're discussing helping Mercia, I believe. They find out that the what's his name, bloody Canute and Breda, they've gone up. They've gone to attack Aylesbury or Mercia. Word gets back to Wessex and Winchester and Edward, and there's a bit of a falling out here, really, because everyone's clashing. You got his mum, you got his father-in-law, you got his sister. Everyone's trying to tell Edward here what to do. His mum and his sister, they're trying to get him to help Mercia, send an army, go and help Mercia. It's the right thing to do. Edward does want to help, but he wants to wait. He wants to wait for the right time to help. Ethelfled doesn't like this decision at all. So she's like, I've got to do something. Edward's not going to like this. It's kind of going against what he wants, but she leaves Winchester to go and to raise the Mercian feuds, which are the pockets of army and men of the land of Mercia. So she goes to raise the feuds. I think she gets a message about getting some men from Wales as well. So she's going to raise her army against Edward's wishes, and go and help Mercia. In the meantime, Uhtred turns up at Grimsby, I think it's Grimsby, as a stopover. They're trying to find these monks, basically. So they're going to spend the night. They want to find these monks for his son to go along with. His son's still not too happy about it, but he's kind of going along with it, deciding, there's a lot of convincing backwards and forwards. He's not very happy with Uhtred. He's never been there while he's grown up. He's a man of God now. Uhtred is a heathen and he's killed lots of people, so they clash. But in the end, he decides, you know what, I'm going to help and help his father take back his homeland. So that's what's going on with Uhtred. They find the priests, or the monks, sorry, eventually in this town. They're in the whorehouse having fun. So they basically get followed. They follow them out. Uhtred's son is waiting for the monks. He pretends that he's lost and needs help, and can he go along? And he's a monk in training. He said, he's not dangerous. The monks reluctantly agree to have him along. And so they basically end up getting to the gates of Bebbanburg, met by Elfrich himself, and he's not very welcoming at first. He doesn't want to let them in. They tell him what it's about this artifact for the Mercians. Says it's not for sale, blah de blah de blah. Turns him away. And Elfrich, he's standing there. He's with his priest himself, who I can't remember the name of. And they do want to negotiate, but obviously they want to get a good price for it. So, Uhtred's son pipes up and says, "Look, I've always dreamed of Bebbanburg since I was a boy. I'd really like to spend the night here. It's my dream. Don't deny me my dream." And then lets him in. So that's that bit. So we see the scene where the Danes attack Aylesbury and Mercia. They do. I mean, there's a lot of blood. They're stringing people up, hanging people, raping, chopping people's heads off, doing all kinds of things there. You can imagine. You've seen it. So Uhtred gets to Bebbanburg eventually. They're on the sea. They're waiting for a signal from his son. Not quite sure what the signal is that they're waiting for, but they're watching it. They're some ways away, not to be spotted. And eventually they do get the signal. He drops a torch over the side. Uhtred sees it and he goes, well, they all go to the castle or the fortress, Bebbanburg. So what happens next? They get to the castle. Uhtred's son's not there to open the gate. Obviously something's gone wrong. He's captured by Elfrich's son, who's turned up a few scenes earlier, actually. So he turns up. He thought he was dead. He sent him away when he was younger. He's back now to join his father at his castle, Bebbanburg. So Uhtred's son gets captured by Elfrich's son. They're in the square. He's killing these monks, just slicing their throats, spilling their guts, trying to make Uhtred's son tell him the truth about why he's there, which he's not saying. He's sticking to his story that he's a monk and he's come here to, he was lost in the corridors. He didn't know where he was. He was just having a look around. Meanwhile, Uhtred and co are outside. They're trying to open the gate. They're trying to lift the gate. Not having much luck. It's a big heavy gate, so eventually they do manage to lift it up enough so Uhtred can squeeze underneath. Once he's through, he can lift the gate. Everyone else goes in to the fortress. Find everyone in the square. Uhtred goes up behind Elfrich with a sword and basically threatens him so that he lets his son go. Then of course, meanwhile, you've got so it's a bit of a standoff. You've got all of the Bebbanburg men around. see, there's more men than originally thought, because when Elfrich's son turned up, he had a bunch of men with him as well, reinforcing the army of Bamberg, which wasn't obviously Uhtred didn't know about at the time. So they're in a bit of a spot of bother now. But you got Elfrich's son, who is up on the kind of the side wall. He's got a crossbow pointed at Uhtred. They're having a standoff. Uhtred's going to kill his dad. He's saying let him go. Trying to appeal to the townsfolk of Bamberg, saying, you know, I'm the rightful heir of Bamberg. I am your lord. Stand with me. I'm going to kill Ælfric. So then we find out that Ælfric's son was not completely honest. It's quite clear that he come back for a bit of revenge himself. And I would imagine his plans was that eventually he was going to kill his father anyway. Turns out he had the opportunity here and he shot his father in the eye with a crossbow right in front of Uhtred. And he goes down, and that's it. It ends. The episode ends right on the cliffhanger, just when Ælfric dies. So, of course, now Ælfric's son is now the Lord of Bebbanburg. He got the support of the priest. Ælfric's priest said, you know, he's the rightful heir of Bebbanburg, and everyone around seems to agree, you know, this is probably the best way. And obviously you've got Uhtred and his men trapped in this fortress with, I don't know how many men he's got now, probably over 100 men surrounding him, and they've got a band of 10? So outnumbered. I would imagine the next episode is going to pick up exactly where we left off on this one. So first 2 episodes, absolute crackers. I mean, I didn't expect us to get to Bebbanburg this early, to where that he was going to try and take it back. I thought it was going to be a bit of a longer campaign, where it was kind of a build up from episode 1, building up through the series. You're obviously Uhtred doing a few other things as well, but maybe he goes back to Edward and appeals, and Edward changes his mind and something happens. Maybe Uhtred saves Ethelfled again, and then Edward finally agrees to help Uhtred take back Bebbanburg. I don't know. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. I didn't expect Uhtred to be at Bebbanburg this early, trying to take it back, and especially Ælfric dying as well that early. As I didn't expect that. I expected that to be kind of in the last episode of the final kind of conflict between Uhtred and his uncle. I expected kind of a bit of a fight between them, but that didn't happen. He's dead. He got killed by his son, so that was a bit of a twist. Apologies if there is these spoilers, by the way. I mean, it's a discussion of episode 1 and 2. Of course, it's spoilers if you're watching this and you're not expecting spoilers, and I've just spoiled it for you. Then, you know, it says it up in a ticker there. It says in the description. So I'm not going to spoil anything more from here. I have seen episode 3. I'm going to do a review of episode 3 later in the week. I'm going to try and work out a way of showing some footage on the left, right, somewhere, just so I can actually I like to show you what I'm talking about rather than just talking as a blank screen, which is what I did in the one I got copyright struck yesterday, which I'm still really annoyed about. I mean, it's the, I mean, what I don't understand, right? You can go onto YouTube now, right? You can search The Last Kingdom. You can find people watching whole scenes of The Last Kingdom and other TV shows, and they're doing the same kind of thing that I'm doing, you know, having a chat about it, pausing it, stopping it, looking at it, discussing it. And they're up there. They've got hundreds of thousands of views. And there's me, my first episode discussing The Last Kingdom. I'm showing a little bit of a trailer. I'm showing a little bit of a recap of the previous episode, explaining what's going on. And it gets copyright strike. Not only copyright strike, but it gets taken down completely from the channel. So it's useless. There's no point in that video existing, so I can watch it. Of course, I can make an argument to say, this is fair use, but that could take however long. So I deleted the video. There's no point. So at least we're safe for this video, hopefully. So anyway, sorry for the bit of a rant on the copyright strike. We've covered episode 1 and 2 of The Last Kingdom season 4. I'm going to do the next episode probably on Thursday, I think. We're Tuesday today. I'm going to skip tomorrow. Going to do another one Thursday. I might actually do episode 3 and 4. So instead of doing 1 episode per stream, I'll do 2 episodes per stream. So there's 10 episodes in total. So this is 1 and 2. Next will be 3 and 4. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
This is the Bunker Podcast. If it exists, it's here.
Downloading new file.